Welcome to the Adapt Collective, where we talk all things health, wellness, and movement.
Oh, yeah, man. Welcome back, adapters. This is episode 17, and we got a special one for you guys. I am joined by Dr. Will Valdes. We have a special one today. My name is Peter Beitia. I know you're probably like, where's Jonas? He's taking a little bit of a sabbatical. But as always, we are adapting, and on the fly, we're bringing you the best of the best. And before I get into it today, I just wanted to bring in our pseudo sponsors. They're not officially our sponsors, but we love these brands, and they take care of us, honestly. So we have Noco. Jonas oftentimes says pre and post or pre-workout, but you can use it for post as well. They got a bunch of different flavors. Honestly, yes, I usually use it pre, especially the caffeine one, because we always need caffeine. And tea, stay salty. I tried recently their pink lemonade. They sent us like some. They sent us some new flavors, and I think pink lemonade.
I didn't try
They have also one with caffeine too. They actually started putting caffeine into their electrolytes too. So as trainers, we love our caffeine. So if you want a couple less reps in your workout, bring us some caffeine. And then speaking of caffeine, the one that does really always have it is Celsius, and that's usually post, but like I said, pre and post. And I have Dr. Will Valdes, part of the recharge team, but honestly a man of all trades, right, so to speak.
Well, I dabble.
Yeah. Dabble is. It's not even a.
Yeah, dabble.
This is your second time too.
It is. It is.
First
one in person.
And you're our first two-peater, actually.
Really?
Yes.
I feel like I should mix all our sponsors and put in this cup.
Ching, baby, ching. What do you got in there?
Well,
probably caffeine.
Yeah, a whole lot of coffee.
Yes.
Whole lot of coffee.
Exactly.
Whole lot of coffee.
If your trainer's not caffeinated, if your practitioner's not caffeinated, they're not bringing their A game.
No. Continuously. You cut me. I'm bleeding caffeine.
I mean, and speaking of, let's get a little bit. Today's, guys, it's gonna be a little bit of a stoic conversation with our friend here. And we can start it off pre-workout, or what's your vice during the gym?
Vice during the gym?
Yeah, like liquid vice. What's your go-to?
Man, to be honest, okay. Yeah, interesting, because I actually had a pretty long history with pre-workouts, because back when I was in the military, and this was back in like 2006, 2010, I was without a doubt a abuser of pre-workout. Dude, I'm talking about, like, I was that guy that'll take 2 scoops
and it'll explode.
Dude, and it'll explode. The original Jack 3D, like to the point where it was just like when I first heard about, oh yeah, people are having heart attacks. Mm-hmm. Of course, in the Marine Corps base, they were flying off the shelves. It was just like, yeah, let's go. But yeah, man, I as the older I've gotten, the more I've kind of just veered away a little bit from the pre-workout, just because of the fact that it's just like, to be honest, it just freaking wires me way too much. I don't know if it just fried my nervous system, but man, I'm just go with some good caffeine, get some good electrolytes, because we sweat like crazy, especially in the facility here, just from the constant just moving around, being pretty active with the clients. But as of recently, I've been way more on top of like actually having some good pre-workout carbs, and it doesn't mean nothing crazy. An apple, a banana, just something to have before I work out makes a huge difference. Who would have thunk it? I would have thunk it.
Yeah, oftentimes, the nutrition concept in terms of coming to the gym and coming fasted is really changing, or just doing sports in general. Like, you're no longer seeing athletes come in fasted. It's just, we're constantly feeding, because you see, like, all right, as soon as you have that gel, as soon as you have that carb, it's like instant fuel, and you need it, right? You want to perform right, then keep feeding it. For me, I never really had that pre-workout kind of like introduction, and I've been around gyms for quite some time. I've always been around trainers, and I like always seeing like, all right, what are you drinking, this and that, and I've tried it, I've dabbled, but it wasn't my thing. Not even, I wouldn't even do creatine. What's what's the one that makes you feel tingly? I'm running
Beta-alanine
beta-alanine.
and niacin.
And if you guys have never done beta-alanine by itself, it's a weird feeling, right? It's like almost like not outer body, but it just like it's kind of like weird. It's like spiders kind of. And so I never liked that feeling of like too overly stimulant. And then obviously I went to grad school, and then I needed the stimulant, and then that's when I started becoming a coffee user. And it was weird because I I'm Hispanic, and my mother was brought up drinking warm coffee with, a little biscuit, the little little coffee.
Café con leche. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think I had my first cup of coffee.
I love the smell of it, but I never. That's not how I was raised.
For sure.
And so, like, I was kind of like, I was going to grad school. I was like, I need to pick me up, and I was like, I was kind of forcing myself. And now I can say I've acquired the taste, but I only do cold coffee. And I see you, and I've tried to do the warm, because I see you with the cola.
I always,
And I'm like, that's. Right now you're doing a cold coffee, right?
Well, it's cooled off, but it was warm. Like if it were
You're more
to
of
me,
a hot coffee.
I am.
Okay,
Like if it were to me, like I would want to put this in a cup that I could microwave, and I would like nuke it for like a minute. To be honest, I like it warm. I like it even if it's 105 degrees out. I still like my little warm espresso. Like I don't know. I'm weird.
You don't feel like it induces more sweat?
Probably.
I feel like I don't like that feeling of like like drinking trying to drink soup, and it's hot. It's a hot day. And you're like
true.
Oh, you're sweating.
True.
You're like,
and that's why for me the espresso is the big one, because I can have like a cup of coffee and it's hot. Like with the espresso, you get small, and it's just like it's just like it's a like I don't know.
You're a pinky guy.
I'm a huge pinky guy, bro. Huge pinky guy. But yeah, dude, like I remember I had my first cup of coffee or café con leche when I was like 4 or 5.
Oh my God.
Man, with the tostada, like the Cuban bread with the butter lathered, or I don't even know if it was actually butter. I don't know what it was. But it was shiny and it was fatty. Yeah, right? And bro, like I grew up on that. But yeah, man, the nostalgia lives on forever.
And so kind of plugging in, like you see us constantly getting stuff. I mean, we have now the cafe running. Kiki's. Yep. So they got some coffee there. If not, you'll see us run to Blackbird. They always hook us up there. If you are running around and you're looking for a quick spot, and it's great because they're drive-through. But say that you go to Adapt and they'll hook you up with a discount. We always get a good discount. They know us. They honestly, at least me, they know what I want. I'm usually a cold brew guy. If I have warm coffee, it makes me queasy.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I love it.
I've tried. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like a little cappuccino, whatever. But usually on the go, I'm usually having some cold brew.
And that is funny because Blackbird, they do know your order. Especially if you gone often. Like I show up and it was like Compana. I was like, this is my espresso with a little whipped cream, and that's literally it.
Oh, that's great.
Fire.
Their empanadas are great too. Okay, cool. And then post workout, what does that look like for you?
Dude, okay, so post-workout, so it depends on the context, right? Because if I'm working, I don't have the luxury to be able to sit down and have a full meal. Because if it were up to me, one of my bigger meals, to be honest, is probably like my post-workout and my dinner. But for the most part, it depends on like where I'm at in the day. Like in the daytime, it's just like I probably have to get up something quick. But post-workout, yeah, man, like I'm talking about yesterday, I little backtrack. I'm right now training for a High Rocks that is going to be in October.
Okay, you're doing Tampa one.
Yes.
Okay, you got it.
Yes.
You got it because that thing was selling out, guys.
Oh, but this is going to get more interesting. That's on a Friday. On that Sunday, I am running the Disney Half Marathon Wine and Dine.
Oh, okay.
So I need a lot of carbs. I need a lot of carbs right now.
Yeah.
And my goal is still a sub 130 in for the half marathon, but now
was gonna be going from Tampa to Orlando with an IV on his arm.
Pretty much.
Just like Drake with the timing.
Yeah, because just a little, just to kind of give a little bit more depth into this, my partner for the one in Tampa, because I'm doing mixed doubles, is her name is Melissa, and she has gone to the CrossFit Games 3 times.
It's a fire breather.
So she
What's up, Mel?
she's a savage, and yeah, we're going for a sub 1 hour. So right now it's kind of like weighing, okay, which is more important. I think the sub 1 hour high rocks would be dope. And if I could still get, like, dude, honestly,
at that
sub
point,
135, I'll be super stoked.
Yeah.
Super stoked. But so with that being said, I have to eat a lot of carbs. Like yesterday, did over a 10-mile run. Dude, I pounded, I don't even know what the size of this orange juice is, but I probably pounded like half of that to the face while I'm cooking myself breakfast.
Yeah.
And this is a little segue conversation that is funny because I remember I got back from a long run in the morning, and then obviously we're about to start coaching, we're about to be on our feet a lot. So I just did like an hour and 15-minute run. This is a couple days ago. I go because I need something quick. If my wife is listening, she's gonna love this. I went to Smoothie King because right now we're doing a house remodeling situation. She's just like, we need to cut on expenses. But anyway, the gains. So I went to Smoothie King and I ended up ordering one of their large protein.
They look
shakes.
like big gulps.
Yeah. And honestly, like macro wise for post workout, amazing. I'm gonna do a little plug with them. They have like this post workout. It's like a recovery pineapple protein shake. That it is over 100 grams of carbs, 2 grams of fat, and 55 grams of protein.
Holy
so
nuts.
On point. It's a bomb though, right?
Yeah.
So you drink that. Would I advise somebody to just drink that and just sit down?
Mm-mm.
Obviously not, because as soon as I walk into the gym, I got one of our buddies, clients that came over, was like, oh, dude, but that's not healthy. And again, this is one of my biggest pet peeves because context is going to be a huge factor.
Exactly.
I literally just ran over an hour. Right. So with that being said, yes, I need this fuel to be able to replenish myself to one, do my job so I could actually be there because obviously our brain runs on sugars.
Yeah.
And then secondly, I need to make sure that with the goals that I have in mind.
You need to train that too.
Yes, exactly.
Because you're going to be running.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Again.
You do.
So you need to replenish that.
So it's pretty crazy, man. Yeah. So like with that being said, yeah, so for post workout, a whole lot of carbs. We've
talked about this, about like training your gut to be able to process all that carb. You know, like you've been training at this, right? If somebody else that hasn't been doing this all of a sudden has that, it will literally feel like a bomb went into your stomach.
100%. Well, look, actually, it's so crazy. Did you see the sub 2 hour marathon?
You told me about it, yes.
Okay, do you know how many grams of carbs they were having an hour?
Like 600.
An hour. Grams of carbs. Of carbs.
Oh no, like probably like 200.
So they were in the range of having around it was over 100, but it was like 125 to 150 for the hour. Which imagine you're running a sub 2 hour marathon. So you have to ingest those carbs while you're running.
Yeah.
Running a sub 5 hour mile pace.
Yeah. Fast.
So
super fast.
Which is crazy because most people are just like, how can they ingest that amount of carbs? Because it's
very
not even
dense honey type of situation.
Yeah, the they have those Morton gels, they have the liquids. Yeah. But what ends up being crazy is just like the carbs is not even the crazier part. The part that's crazy is that you have to literally train your GI tract to be able to take that. Because I don't know about you guys, but if you take any of those
you'll end up in
gels, you're gonna be a straight first class trip to the friggin' bathroom.
Yep.
So it's just like right now I'm training myself to try to take and bring up my
storage.
My storage, exactly. So when I'm running, before it used to be my stomach could only handle like 40 grams of carbs.
Before you had to go to the bathroom.
Exactly. Yeah. And even to this day, it's a running joke with my wife. Every time I go on my long run, there's inevitably
running running home. Love you.
I have to like literally do a little satellite trip because I can't run too far away from the house, because if I do, Mother Nature's gonna be knocking at the door, and I don't think somebody's gonna appreciate that.
Might end up only in days, just like mira.
So yeah, dude. So it's crazy because people, they think, the training is a huge factor, but man, there's so many other aspects of hydration, obviously sleep, stress management, but on top of that too, dude, like just training your gut to be able to absorb those things, you know. But yeah, dude, what about you?
I understand that. My go-to is food-wise. Once again, it depends if we're training somebody, like, or we're working right after. It'd probably be some type of gel. Or I have like straight honey, and it's great because it just it's instant, a tablespoon, and that like picks you up immediately, and then from there I just have some type of gels. If obviously have time, then I want to smash some type of like pancakes or overnight oats or something like that sort. Something dense, something carb heavy, because carbs are your friends. but only if you're training in context, guys. Once again, amazing. Will, any and this is gonna be a short episode because we wanted to give people just enough of like, hey, quick kind of like tips and kind of like inside scoop into our go-tos, right? And so we're gonna do some facility announcements, and then we'll catch you on the other episode, right?
Hell yeah.
And the plan is to kind of like rotate through some of us, and get not only. I know we've been very limited. We've had Ben, we've had you, and we've had Scoop, but there's a whole other list of teammates that would not make this experience here at Adapt possible without each and every one of them. And so we want to try to rotate through everybody and get a quick lens at everybody and what their day in life looks like, what their cafecito strategy looks like, and you know, a little bit of insight, like I said. And so this is the part where we typically do some hot tips. And I actually, you know, Jonas always helps me with this, but you know, here I am.
Hot tips.
Yes. Hot tips. So,
That's so dope.
Do you have anything that kind of comes quickly to mind? In terms of maybe something that you were working with a member and I was like, oh, this is something that like not only my member can, my client can use, but like, oh, hey, I think the masses at Adapt and the adapters can use.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, dude, yeah. So most recently, I think, being in Recharge, obviously we work with a lot of people recovering from injuries. And I think a lot of times, especially with social media, things could get a little bit misconstrued on like, okay, follow this exercise. We've probably been guilty of it where we save a post and we're just like, oh, I'm going to try this because this is going to go in and relieve X pain, right?
Yeah.
But
very dogmatic, like, all right, that's it.
Yeah, this is it. But there's, just like the old saying goes, there's many roads that lead to Rome, right? So a lot of times I think people, they get caught up on like this whole idea of what healing process looks like in regards to like, okay, I'm starting here where I'm like have 7 out of 10 pain, right? And I want to be able to get to no pain and be able to be 100% functionality. When yes, the goal is to be able to get to functionality, being able to reduce that pain. But a lot of times the same approach that we would have for the stock market, that if you look at it in a very microscopic way, it'll end up being very reactive, right? Where it's just going up and down. But really, when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, big bird's eye view, it's trending in the right direction where it starts off lower and it's ideally working its way up. And that's kind of what the whole thing with the rehab process, that it's really like, it is not a very smooth cut transitional approach or progress. This is going to end up being modulated from day to day, day in and day out, and then you're going to have good days and bad days. And I think the biggest idea is, I think that people get really frustrated when expectations doesn't meet what they're experiencing, right? So if they end up thinking that it's just like, all right, I started this plan and it's just, I still feel the discomfort. Okay, you might still feel the discomfort, but the whole idea with regards to like being able to grasp and increase functionality is to also start understanding how to be able to move your body and manipulate the way that you might end up feeling discomfort. Meaning, just a real quick example, I had a patient last week, they haven't been able to squat pain-free with their knee, right? And they have like a lot of apprehension with this. Yeah. And something as simple as we did, we went over the TRX, which is these straps that you anchor up on a wall, and you could end up doing like upper body rows or whatever.
Yeah, typically.
So what we did, we just grabbed the handles and now just had them do a guided, just kind of a system to just do a squat down. And I just had them do 5 reps. They ended up going up to 10 reps because now I could kind of see the gears were turning, because
I can do this.
They were like, oh, wait, okay, how did the pain feel? And they were like, I had no pain. It was like, you just did the movement, but there was no experiencing of pain. No. So right there, just kind of changed the perspective of just like, oh yeah, I could still do this thing that I thought was always going to give me pain, but now I could actually find a way to be able to do this. And then most people are going to be like, oh yeah, but are you fixing the problem? And it's just like, this is the thing with pain itself, and this could be a whole nother conversation. It's so much more complicated than just like what's wrong with that specific area. It ends up being a very psychological thing as well, because sometimes you might end up doing a movement, you're expecting that pain to be there, but guess what? If you do a movement of different variation and the pain isn't associated, now that pain or the nervous system is going to start kind of dampening down a little bit, to eventually we could get into being able to do a regular squat. So the biggest thing is just like, there's many ways to be able to peel that potato, and that you don't really want to get too concrete on like the process, be a lot more flexible with the process, but very clear on like the destination. Yeah.
Fair. I like that. My
Hot tips.
you know, I working with clients once again. You start talking to individuals, and once they establish a routine here, the next kind of domino to fall, or the next question, right, is usually, hey, I have a routine, but why am I not losing weight, right? And the reality is, you have a good structure, but you're just not feeding yourself in the appropriate manner. And oftentimes you start then talking about what's happening at home, and everybody has a very subjective opinion about how their nutrition is going. And it's important to audit yourself. And there's many ways to do that, right? Whether it's like you do a log, you journal, whatever the case may be. But oftentimes the people that make the change, right? Like from a longitudinal perspective, that see results eventually, that eventually, start getting and marking progress, it's because they start gaining awareness. And they're not sticklers about recording every single thing, but they have consciousness about what their macronutrient, what their nutrition is entailing, right? They remember, they can backlog, oh, hey, this is what I had last week, right? Consistently, right? Because oftentimes you have that same conversation with people, and I've asked you, hey, 2 weeks ago, what did you have? Right? You should have an idea. I don't need the exact grams, right? But you should have, all right, hey, this is how my day flowed, because if you don't, then what does that mean? Oh, that it could have been very sporadic, right? And so you then start talking about meal prepping and stuff like that, and that becomes a whole wormhole, right? Once again, just like very different conversation from what you're having with your clients. And there's different strategies that you can use, but oftentimes what we tell people is like, hey, you either have a nutrient timing issue, or you have a macro kind of macronutrient issue, or you can have both, right? Well, if you have both, right, or if you have one or the other, oftentimes it's, why don't you seek help, right? And make life easier for yourself, because sometimes you start trying to meal prep, you haven't been meal prepping, and now you're trying to get educated on that process, and oftentimes, like, hey, there are resources such as like the one we have here, and it's our plug, where we work with a meal catering company called TrueMade, and they make your life so easy, right? Where you can go online, order your meals for the week, you can have them drop off here at Adapt, forego the delivery fee, and it's just one less thing. Now you only have to worry about eating them, right? Whereas like, hey, the meals that you're being that are being consumed, they're healthy, they're using good oils, they're like we know where they're kind of producing that, they're local. And so if you're listening to this using Adapt 15 all uppercase at checkout, you get 15% off your first order, and even there afterwards. So take the guesswork out of your nutrition, and get consistent with it, and then that's how you'll start noticing your progress over the long run.
Shout out for those athletic portions from TrueMade.
Oh man, yes, exactly. For us, bigger individuals that need a little bit more protein. Really, that's what it is. More protein, because that just satiates you more. But they do have like a leaner kind of portion as well, a regular size portion. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much our hot tips. Really, facility announcements. Big one this weekend. We have our Memorial Day Murph. It isn't on Memorial Day. We do it typically the Saturday before that Monday. I know you'll be leading us, as you should always be, because you are the man when it comes to the Murph. We'll start. What time are we starting?
We're starting at 8 a.m.
8 a.m. Memorial Day Murph. Really, it's a tribute workout. We all do a very hard workout together, right? And that's what it's really about, I think you have a better spiel than I'm not doing it justice, honestly.
Dude, honestly, it's really not too much of a spiel. It's just like, honestly, it's just something that we want to do, where I always constantly tell people that this is not necessarily an endeavor about trying to be number one in the workout. It's, if anything, it's just more so about being able to suffer together and to kind of anchor yourself down on, like, the real purpose and the real meaning of just that Memorial Day is all about, right? Where people giving the ultimate sacrifice, and just for an hour out of your day, you could kind of see what it's going to be like going through this very hard endeavor, which a lot of people, they just probably sway themselves away from something like that, and that's completely fine. But this gives you a great opportunity to be amongst people where they're really pushing themselves to some very hard places, and essentially everybody starts together, might not finish together, but we're going to be there cheering you on to be able to finish it up, and then having a fat burger afterwards.
That's right, and loading up some carbs afterwards.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for that. Hope you guys join us. If you don't join us, we still have class as regular. They'll do a very modified version of Memorial Day Murph workout. Like I said, we always adapt. We adapt it to everybody's level here. And then the other announcement is that we have our run club, and it's already been kicking off for a couple weeks already. Just want to make sure everybody was aware. That's Saturdays at 7 a.m. And our run club is not just come here and go out and do a long run, right? We will have a social run, right? Every first Saturday of the month, in line with that community Saturday, it will be something of like a longer, easier kind of paced run, right? Where we kind of stay as a group, we Peloton together. We kind of like it's sociable, right? The other weeks we're actually working at being better from a capacity and from a technical standpoint, right? Because there's and you're actually spearheading the programming where we're working at some strength components, right? That will facilitate better movement. And then we're, interlacing in there some good quality intervals that will improve your capacity, and depending on the interval, may improve your technicality, right? At running some whatever your goal in terms of distance is. But really, the emphasis is not just come here and run, right? Anybody can do that. And yes, you will potentially get better over the long course, but really, we're being very intentful with how we're going about implementing some good intervention from a physical training standpoint. 1000%. And that's pretty much it, guys. Please give us a follow, give us a shout out. Follow us. We need every help we can to be out here and continue doing this for you guys. See you guys on the next episode. Peace.